Super Mario 64 is a game that needs no introduction. I've beaten it countless times over the years, but today we're going to try it with RetroAchievements. The main set has 114 achievements, with only one of them being missable. You'll either have to obtain it before clearing Bowser in the Fire Sea, or create a backup save after 30 stars if you want to save it for later. Aside from that, every other achievement can be attempted whenever you feel like, so don't worry about saving the harder tasks until the end. Each of the main courses will have recurring themes such as full course clears, using every secret warp, opening the cannon, collecting all 1-ups in a single session, and red coin challenges, which in most applicable levels is just a damageless run. And then on top of that, each course is going to have its additional level and mission specific challenges. I won't cover the standard progression achievements in depth since you'll naturally unlock them on a normal 100% run, and then I'll try my best to structure the levels as cleanly as possible so that anyone looking for a one-off achievement can find it, but that's much easier said than done, because the freedom to explore grants you so many routing options. And with all that said, let's begin. After going through the intro, you land smack dab in the middle of Bob-omb Batlefield and get bombarded with multiple achievement opportunities and leaderboard submissions. In Mission 1, King Bob-omb has 2 relevant achievements, one for beating him without being thrown or taking damage, which is pretty easy given how slow he is, and then another one that you can either get from him now or a Chuckya later on, escaping from their grab, which is done by pressing the A or analog stick a minimum of 11 times after being grabbed. Then Mission 2 has an achievement for beating Kuba the Quick in 34 seconds or less. You can't use the wing cap, but you can use warps. The easiest way to meet this time is by skipping the first warp and long jumping to the corner of this hill. Then have your double jump start right at this corner, triple jump up the slope, and then continue to jump and dive over before heading to the second warp and side flipping up. Then Mission 3 has an achievement for collecting the star without using a cannon. There are 2 main ways you can do this. You can either time a series of long jumps to just barely reach the floating island, or you can come back later with the wing cap and just fly over. After that, the red coin challenge in Bob-omb Batlefield is pretty easy to beat damageless, and then Mission 5 requires you to complete Mario Wings to the Sky without the wing cap. It's not hard to do, but it definitely took me far more cannon shots than I'd like to admit. Eventually I completed it. Then for the general level achievements, you probably already unlocked the cannon in Mission 2 or later, and probably already used both warps as well. Then there are 3 1-ups in this level. Here in this tree, behind this gate, and the last one from circling around the flower bed. After that, you have one final achievement that can be done at pretty much any time, and that's Long Walk into the Mountain, which requires you to climb to the top without pressing A or using a warp. The only remotely mild struggle here for some players is going to be crossing this bridge, which was quite awkward when I finally did it. But the rest is pretty easy. Wrap up Bob-omb Batlefield, and we're off to the Princess's Secret Slide, which has 3 separate achievements in it. One for collecting all 80 coins that appear, but it's not too bad because you can jump kick your way back up if you don't quite have the precision. Then you have one for collecting both lives that appear in the level. The first one will be in plain sight, while the other one appears at the end if you pass through the hidden checkpoints that appear, which should occur if you collected all the coins anyways. And then lastly, you have one for completing the slide in under 17 seconds, which isn't too bad when you know when to jump. It's far from speedrun levels of precision. And if all goes well, you only need to enter this level twice and you can group both stars with the relevant achievements. So then moving on to Whomp's Fortress. King Whomp has a damageless achievement, which is pretty easy since you can just phase right through him with a ground pound. And then in Mission 3, you have a cannonless achievement, but many of you probably already just wall-kicked your way up to the star anyways, making it a nice freebie. Mission 4 has another damageless red coin star, which is pretty easy, and then Mission 5 requires you to complete Fall into the Caged Island without using the owl. Owlless is a common speedrunning strat that involves you triple jumping and wall kicking at just the right angle in order to fall into the cage, so I guess I'm going to learn Owlless today. I did it! I got the star Owlless. Moving on, most of you probably already unlocked the cannon on the full course clear for Blast Away the Wall, and then the one warp in the level is in this corner. For the 1-ups, choose Mission 2 or later, and you'll find a 1-up by riding the spinning bridge into the coins, one on top of the tall pole, one hidden behind this breakable wall, which I somehow never knew about until now, and then the last one is from these butterflies, so I guess let's talk about these. Whenever you're walking by and a group of butterflies spawn, Touching one gives you a 1 in 3 chance of spawning a 1-up, and the other 2 will give you a bomb. Figuring out how exactly to come in contact with a butterfly may take a bit of getting used to, so don't worry if you're struggling at first and you begin questioning your depth perception, you'll get a feel for it eventually. But back to the 1 in 3 chance, yes, that does mean that you could fail and have to start the Lifesaver challenge over. Meaning that for most Lifesaver challenges, if there's butterflies in them, you'll want to tackle those first. And later on, you'll even have to deal with multiple butterflies in a single level, but the saving grace is if you guess wrong on the first one, you can still reach the other ones to get more chances before they all fly off. So after wrapping up the Lifesaver challenge and the full course clear, we're off to Jolly Roger Bay, which has significantly less achievements than the previous levels. There's no red coin challenge achievement since your health and air are shared, and there's no warps in the level either. The cannon is unlocked by talking to the Bob-omb buddy over here, and then you can use it to grab the first one up on the spire, before swimming through the coin ring here to grab the second one up. Then when you attempt Mission 5, there's an achievement for reaching the star without using the cannon, which is an interesting challenge with 2 main strategies. You can either perform a double long jump from the ship before wall kicking up to the ledge, or you can learn how to frame walk, which is the process of walking and letting go repeatedly. This keeps initiating Mario's movement while preventing him from entering his sliding animation. And surprisingly, frame walking was the much easier option here. You can go one step further and map the up input to a button to make the movement much more consistent. So after getting the hang of it, I frame walked all the way up to the spire, grabbed it, jumped off, and got my achievement. Then after that, there's an achievement for completing through the jet stream without the metal cap. Not too difficult, it just requires good timing on your swimming to outspeed the current. Wrap up the rest of the course clear, and while we're in this room, go ahead and enter the secret aquarium, grab the 1 hit and 1 up by swimming through these coins, complete the star, and we're off to Cool Mountain. There's a damageless red coin challenge again, and then you have a challenge for completing wall kicks will work without touching the slope with the heart. Pretty easy to pull off, and some of you probably already know the strat. Just bounce off this spindrift and float all the way down to the star. After that, make sure you unlock the cannon by talking to the Bob-omb here, and then initiate the 1 warp by standing on the broken bridges. Then for the Lifesaver challenge, to be perfectly clear, there are 6 in total, but you only need to collect 5. And that's because in the hidden tunnel in the slide, there are 2 1-ups. The first one is easy to collect, but the second one is glitched and will clip through the tunnel. Don't restart if you miss the second one, because you're not required to grab it for the achievement. Continue to the end of the tunnel, grab the 1-up here, warp back up to the top, and then grab the remaining 1-ups. There's one more achievement in this level, but you'll have to wait until after getting 120 stars, so we'll cover it later. If you haven't already, unlock the wing cap and grab the star in the level, and we're off to Bowser in the Dark World, which has a damageless achievement that's much easier than it looks. There's also a Lifesaver challenge here, but for some reason, the lives don't all appear until later on when you complete Bowser in the Fire Sea. No clue why they made that design choice, but it is what it is, and here's where they all are when you come back for it later. Anyways, we've got our key and can enter the basement, so now's a good time to drain the moat, collect the Vanish cap, collect the 8 red coin star, and collect all of the 1-ups in the level. There's another Lifesaver achievement obtained inside the castle. Head nearby where you drain the moat and touch these 4 corners to spawn the first one, and then the second 1-up is going to be in the Jolly Roger Bay room. Just make sure you don't accidentally enter the secret aquarium. So we're off to Big Boo's haunt. Complete mission 1 like normal, and then every single one of the achievements in this level can be obtained on missions 2 through 6. There's an achievement for completing Secret of the Haunted Books without solving the puzzle, something many of you probably already did anyways by jumping across here. Then there's a damageless red coin achievement, and another one for defeating both of the Big Boo's damageless in one session. There are no warps or cannons in this level, so grab your 2 lives, both of which are on top of buildings, wrap up the course, and we're off to Hazy Maze Cave, which surprisingly only has 3 achievements. For the 1-ups, 2 of them are going to be located inside of boxes, and then 2 of them are going to be from defeating the moles. After that, you have 1 for completing Amazing Emergency Exit without touching the toxic gas, which has multiple solutions for it. And then you have the full course clear, and that's it. So head off to the Metal Cap course in this stage, which also has 3 achievements. The 1-ups are near the waterfall and by these columns. You'll get a second achievement for pressing the switch, and a third one for collecting the 8 red coin star without collecting a second metal cap. Even if you run out of time, you're still more than capable of grabbing the red coins in the water. Just be careful to not get swept out, and then you'll have all 3 achievements in a single session. And after that is Lethal Lava Land. You have 1 achievement for defeating both giant bullies in a single session, and the red coin challenge has an added twist of not allowing you to press the A button either. This will test your ability to dive recover, but the first gap is the hardest. You have a single warp in this level, and then in mission 5 or 6 when you get the shell, there's an achievement for collecting 90 coins while riding it. Just take your time and jump to slow down if needed. Then you have the Lifesaver challenge, and there are a total of 8 in this level. 7 of them will be around the main area, and the very last one will be inside of the volcano. So wrap everything else up, and then next up is Shifting Sandland, which has one of my personal favorite achievements in the entire set, Delivery for the Ancient Pharaoh, where you carry the small crate all the way to the top of the pyramid and collect the star. It's like one of those fun challenges you'd make up as a kid. You are able to set down or drop the box and keep the achievement, you just have to make sure you're holding it when you collect the star. Then for Stand Tall in the 4 Pillars, you have 2 achievements tied to it. For the first one, start it as normal, and then on the descent into the pyramid, jump off to collect the Inside the Ancient Pyramid star before it descends below the top platform. Basically the speedrun strat. Then you have a second achievement for completing the mission, and defeating the boss without taking any damage. Then after completing your red coin damageless challenge, which isn't too bad since you'll be flying for most of it, you have your cannon, 2 warps, and then 9 lives to collect. 4 of them will be outside, and the remaining 5 will all be inside. So after wrapping up the full course, we have Dire Docks, which has no cannons or warps, and only a single life hidden inside the shell. Then we have the one missable achievement in the entire set, so make sure to either complete it now before completing Bowser in the Fire Sea, or creating your backup save now so that you can attempt it later. For this challenge, you'll have to complete the 8 red coin star while Bowser's sub is still here, meaning that you won't have the moving poles to help you out. This was a platforming puzzle for sure, demanding some creative solutions to reach these coins. Most of them aren't too bad and are actually fun to figure out, but this final red coin by the cage tends to be the biggest challenge for most players. You can either slide off the sub and time a jump to grab this ledge, or you can do what I did and climb up to here, angle a long jump diagonally, and then ledge grab up to the coin. And with that, the only missable achievement in the entire set is done. Next up, similar to Jolly Roger Bay, you have another achievement for collecting the star without using the metal cap. It's a bit more precise than the first one, but still more than doable. Then after you get your full course clear, the final achievement in this level has to actually be obtained after completing Bowser in the Fire Sea, but for the sake of structure, I'll cover it now. You simply have to collect the Board Bowser substar without the sub, and you can just jump off this pole to reach it. Now we're on to Bowser in the Fire Sea, and similar to the first Bowser level, not all of the 1-ups will spawn immediately for some reason. So grab your red coin star, complete Bowser damageless, and then come back a second time to grab all 7 1-ups. Also, since Bowser 2 is defeated, make sure to grab the 1-ups in Bowser 1 now that they're available if you haven't already. However, I covered that earlier, so we're off to Snowman's Land, which has an achievement for defeating the Chili Bully and collecting the star without taking any damage or getting pushed, which is easy enough. Then we have another Shell Coin challenge. It may be only 75 coins this time around as opposed to 90 in Lethal Lava Land, but this one's definitely a step up in difficulty, and took me more than one attempt. Still not too bad though, remember to jump to slow down if needed. After that you have another damageless red coin challenge, 1 warp, and then 4 1-ups. 2 outside of the main level, and then 2 inside the igloo. Wrap up your course clear and head off to Wet Dry World, which isn't all that exciting in terms of achievements available. The height at which you enter affects how much water the level starts with, so there's an achievement for entering at all 3 heights. Then you have 1 warp in this corner, a cannon unlock which you'll get when completing the course anyways, and then 4 lives. 2 in the main area are in plain sight right next to each other, and then the last 2 are in the town. 1 in this box, and 1 that spawns from collecting these coins, though sometimes it's a bit finicky. So yeah, not too much here. Wrap up and head to Tall Mountain. There's a very likely chance that you've never even used the cannon for Blast of the Lonely Mushroom anyways, meaning that there's an easy achievement ready for you to collect. That also means that for some of you, the harder achievement will be unlocking the cannon and then actually learning where the warp is for the other achievements. Then if you know about the wind spot here, you can collect Mysterious Mountainside without the slide for another achievement. And then the Lifesaver challenge takes a sudden ramp up in difficulty because this one has 11 lives to collect, with multiple opportunities to fail which could force a restart. Given the randomness of it, the butterfly patch is what I would consider the number 1 priority. Then I would head for the slide, touch the 4 corners at the start for a well-hidden 1-up, turn right outside the room for another, and then grab the 2 on the slide. After this, the risk level drops significantly. You have 1 near the start of the level, 1 in this box, and 2 from the groups of moles. The game is weird here and sometimes you have to climb up to these moles instead, but it's still not too difficult. You have another 1-up in the red coin area near the moles, and then finally on a ledge near the waterfall. This may end up being one of the very last achievements that you complete, and it's one of the few that took me multiple attempts to get. But after wrapping up, you then have Tiny Huge Island. Reaching the sign and reading it is easy enough, completing the red coins damageless is nothing special, and even defeating Wiggler damageless isn't that much of a challenge. Defeating Koopa the Quick in under 20 seconds without the shell though surprisingly took me a few attempts. The path is much more straightforward than the first race, but it's also much more precise for the achievement. Just gotta get those long jumps down, don't jump when the wind is blowing, and with enough practice, I was eventually able to beat it in 19.5 seconds. With enough practice, I was eventually able to beat it in 19.7 seconds. And then after unlocking the cannon and using the 1 warp, which is one way only, you then have what is the worst Lifesaver challenge in the game, and possibly one of the hardest achievements in the main set. 10 lives to collect in a single session, and 3 of them are tied to butterflies. The odds of you actually getting the correct butterfly 3 times in a row are incredibly low, so you're going to be doing a lot of scrambling to try to grab all the butterflies before they all fly off. But thankfully, after these 3, the rest of the 1-ups aren't too bad, you just gotta know where to find them. For many completionists looking to master the entire set, there's a good chance that this will be the very last achievement that you complete. After this and the course clear, we're off to Tick-Tock Clock. As many of you may know, the speed of the level depends on the position of the minute hand when you enter the level, so there's an achievement for entering at all 4 time states. Then the red coin challenge on this level does actually allow you to take damage, but at the trade-off of requiring you to enter the level at the fastest time state. I made some stupid mistakes here, but I got it on my 3rd attempt, before choking on the way up to grab the star. Fourth attempt I got it, and then thankfully the Lifesaver challenge on this one was pretty easy. 4 in total, all in relatively obvious places. No cannons or warps in Tick-Tock Clock, so wrap up the full course and go to Wing Mario Over the Rainbow for the Lifesaver challenge. It's not too much harder than the regular 8 red coin star, but of course you still have the same struggle of if you mess up you're going to fall all the way down to the castle grounds and have to climb all the way back up. So I took my time and got it on my first attempt, meaning that we're on our final course, Rainbow Ride. 1 warp, a cannon near the maze, and 9 lives to collect. I used some very unconventional routing here because I got lost, but it was still obtained on my first attempt. And then we have a tough, but fair and incredibly fun challenge, completing Cruiser Crossing the Rainbow without using any carpets. One of the most memorable achievements in the entire set because it's not easy, but it's satisfying to overcome. I failed on this one multiple times, but I got better with each attempt, which made that final moment where I finally got it all that much more satisfying. After the full course clear, we're almost done. Bowser in the Sky has 6 extra lives, but beware that 2 of them are on rotating platforms and can fall off the edge. The other 4 are relatively easy to reach. Then you have your standard red coin star, a damageless level run which, even for the final level, isn't that bad, and then you'll have an achievement for beating Bowser after collecting all 120 stars and experiencing the different dialogue. The credits will roll, you'll get another achievement, and then you'll be able to collect the final few in the set. Make your way back to Cool Cool Mountain after collecting all 120 stars, and the penguin that you race will be bigger. Defeat him in his ultimate form for an achievement, and then make your way back out to the castle courtyard for your final Lifesaver achievement. 2 of them are going to be from butterflies, 1 is from grabbing the coins under the moat, 1 is hidden in this tree, and then the final 3 are on top of the castle, which you can now shoot up to with the cannon. Then you talk to Yoshi, and you have a fitting way to finish the set, with maximum lives and an enhanced triple jump. So as far as the set goes, I enjoyed it a lot. Taught me new things about the game, introduced some advanced strategies that might be used in a speedrun, it got creative with some of the challenges, it makes a fair distinction between beating versus mastering a game, and even the hardest achievements still made sense as to why they were included. So not only is the set worth completing for any dedicated fan, but if I were to play the game again, I'd not only re-enable the set, but I'd be willing to complete the set all over again. There's not much I would change. If anything, I'd consider adding several small achievements if possible, such as an additional delivery challenge or something for dropping the baby penguins off the ledge, since we all did that anyways. But for now, I am done with Super Mario 64 with retro achievements and... Objection! Super Mario 64 has several retro achievement subsets to it, one of them standing out from the rest with Coin Collector. As the name implies, you collect every obtainable coin in all 15 main courses and the 3 Bowser stages, not including any glitched coins or infinite sources. The Coin Collector subset has an interesting backstory and controversy to it, because for the longest time, these achievements were actually a part of the main set, and were only just recently moved to a subset after years of frustration among retro achievement users. So because so many people had to struggle with the coins beforehand in the main set, and it may have been the sole reason why some of these older users didn't master the set back then, I feel like it's only fair for me to go through the same experience as those past users, give it an honest attempt, and then give some input on it. Level 1 was pretty easy. No voids and 2 recovery hearts. Just have the wing cap unlocked to make your life easier, and remember that circling the posts give you extra coins. Easy unlock first try. Whomp's Fortress may have places to fall this time, but it's still incredibly easy. Pick mission 2 or later, and remember to repeatedly jump on the Whomp's backs to get as many coins as possible before ground pounding them for more coins. Once again, easy unlock first try. And then Jolly Roger Bay only has 104 coins in the entire level, so it's not even any harder than the 100 coin star at that point. I picked the red coin star so the ship would be raised, and easily got it on the first try. So far so good. But Cool Mountain is where I made my first mistake. I almost got every coin, and then realized that these spindrifts here can have their coins fall off the edge pretty easily. I went for these first on my second attempt and failed, but then I got them on my third try, before collecting everything else no problem. Then for Bowser in the Dark World, I got it on my first try. The hardest jumps were for the red coins anyways, so it's not too much harder beyond that. Big Boo's Haunt is next. I select mission 2, and the only coins with remotely any risk here are these books, which you have to hit for blue coins. If they hit the wall first, then you don't get any coins and have to reset. But even then, got it on my first try, pretty easy. Suspecting that Lethal Lava Land might be hard, I go to Shifting Sandland next. I botched on my first attempt, but then got all 136 on my second attempt. Don't let that fool you though, it was not a smooth run whatsoever. Just know that there are 74 coins outside, and then the remaining 62 are inside the pyramid. Hazy Maze Cave was next, and outside of this bat right here having a risk of its coin falling into the void, nothing in this level was too challenging. The moving platform helps with circling the eyes, and it may take a few attempts, but if you fail, it's easy to bring the platform back. Admittedly, it took me an embarrassingly long time to find the final coins from these bats way up here. Then after grabbing the metal cap, I finally gave Lethal Lava Land a try, and I ended up being absolutely correct about how it might be hard. Hard is an understatement, and I ended up rage quitting after several attempts. The coins from the bullies try to land where they get pushed off from, but it's incredibly easy for them to bounce off the walls and back into the lava, forcing a reset. So you just gotta get a groove for hitting them from the right distance with the right amount of power, but I decided I'm gonna save this one for near the end, and I'm glad I did. Moved on to Dire Docks, which was way easier, only 106 coins. It was a very easy first attempt clear because it's no more difficult than the 100 coin star. Bowser in the Fire Sea only has 80 coins, but it presents a similar issue to Lethal Lava Land with the bullies, thankfully on a much smaller scale though. There are 4 bullies, but it still took 3 or 4 attempts to get them all. I just went for these first every time, and then once I got them all, the remaining 76 coins were incredibly easy to collect. So we beat Bowser, get the Vanish cap, and head off to Wet Dry World. There's 152 coins in this level. 107 are in the main area, and then the remaining 45 are inside the town. Not too much else to say about this. Pretty easy, got it on my first try. And then Snowman's Land was another first attempt clear. You can enter and exit the igloo at will, and you just need to find a way up here without bouncing on the spindrift, since they have coins you need to collect. I just jump kicked my way up this slope and went from there. There's a glitch coin here too that isn't required, but it's still pretty easy to collect with a cannon if you want 127 instead of 126. Tall Mountain took me 3 attempts. I would recommend starting with a slide on this one, grabbing the one up, and then if you fall off the slide, you restart there with minimal time loss. There's 137 coins total, 62 of which are on the slide. Aside from that, the rest of the main area isn't too hard. From here I decided that Tick-Tock Clock would be the easiest of the remaining levels, and to my surprise, I got all 128 coins on my very first try. I'd even go as far as to say that collecting the 8 red coins on max speed was significantly harder than collecting all 128 coins on slow speed. But since we're on the tail end of the challenge, there's no more easy levels or lucky breaks. We have Lethal Lava Land, Tiny Huge Island, Rainbow Ride, and Bowser in the Sky remaining. So I decided to backwards long jump my way up to Bowser in the Sky because it's only 76 coins and the other Bowser levels weren't so bad, so how bad could this one be? Deceptively harder than I thought. The first challenge is the Thwomp, because the coins can fly off below and then eventually fall into the void. I get a decent grasp on this, and then proceed to collect everything else, but then I realized I was short 1 coin. I go back to the very beginning, and then search the whole level all over again, trying to figure out what I missed. I then decide to check the replay, and I figured it out. These Bob-ombs can walk off into the void, meaning that they won't respawn and you can't get the coin out of them. And the achievement logic is smart enough to prevent you from just using Bowser's Fire to cheese the final coins, so I have to start all over. I have to be fast with killing the Bob-ombs before they walk off the ledge, which happened a whole lot. These things forced multiple resets, and then I finally devised a more consistent plan by making them run into each other, which also reduces the risk of the coins themselves flying off. After nearly a dozen attempts, I finally completed this stage. I decide that Rainbow Ride is the next easiest out of what's left, and through trial and error, I devise a route through all the high-risk sections first. I ground pound this fly guy so I don't spin off. I move to a slower spinning platform before taking out the Lakitu to reduce the risk of the flying coins. I destroy the Bob-ombs before they walk off the ledge, and then grab all the blue coins within the time limit. The fly guy was never an issue, but the remaining 3 segments caused a lot of resets. Once I finally got these starting segments, I was able to collect the remaining coins with some unconventional routing, but it still wasn't too difficult beyond there, and I eventually got all 146. Still dreading Lethal Lava Land, I decide that Tiny Huge Island is next, which has a whopping 191 coins, not including the glitch coins. There's 33 coins on the Tiny Island, and then 158 on the Huge Island. And the Tiny Island ended up being the much harder part, because if you jump on a tiny Goomba, you get a coin, but if you bump into it instead, you get nothing. And these mini Goombas sucked more than anything else. But once you get these, and to a much lesser extent the coins from this box, the rest of Tiny Island is easy. For the Huge Island, you just have to remember that ground pounding the Goombas gives you a blue coin instead of a yellow coin, and on a final note, I wish I knew earlier that these coins up here during the Wiggler fight can be collected from climbing underneath them. If I knew that, I might not have choked 181 coins into the run trying to leave the area. But after a grand total of 22 attempts, I finally got all 191 coins, meaning that all that's left is Lethal Lava Land. As covered earlier, missions 5 and 6 are the only ones that have the shell, and then the coins from the bullies try to land where they were last standing, but if they're too far or too close, they'll bounce off the wall and disappear into the lava. I found out through experience that the shell doesn't really make collecting the bully coins any easier. It's more likely to cause a weak hit. So you just gotta punch them at the right spot, and if you think it'll be under, jump onto the coin and steer your lava bounce back onto the platform. To a much lesser extent, you have this jumping box as a risk, but since it can safely bounce on the lava, just time the break from the third bounce to occur as the 4 sinking platforms are fully expanded. After that, make sure to grab the yellow coins that appear once the Bowser puzzle resets, and take your time safely collecting everything else. There are 107 coins on the outside, so that brings us to the inside. There's only 26 coins in the volcano, and only 2 of those coins pose any threat to the run, but oh boy do they pose a threat like no other. Both of the coins in question are from bullies, and neither one of them are close to a lava pool because it's so far down below. So naturally the coins can't jump all the way back up. This first bully here can be made easier by punching him all the way down first, but then there's this fucking bully. There's no clean path back down the ramps, so you have one option. Punch him off the top, take a leap of faith, and hope that this platform here saves the run. Words cannot even begin to describe the pain of steadily grabbing the first 107 coins outside the volcano, botching on this one bully, losing a life to reset the level, entering again to try again, forgetting that you now respawn inside the volcano, losing another life to leave, running to shifting sandland to lose another life, and then repeating the process of failure all over again. Talking about this level solely in number of attempts is an inaccurate metric to use. In the other levels, the high-risk segments could be attempted immediately, so a failed attempt might only cost a minute or 2. Not only did Lethal Lava Land take me the most number of attempts by a long shot, but the raw footage of me finally clearing this one challenge is about 12 minutes long, so many of the failed attempts can easily be in that 5 to 10 minute range. An overwhelming majority of this subset was spent solely on Lethal Lava Land. If I made a list on coin challenge difficulty, Lethal Lava Land is a tier all on its own that made Tiny Huge Island easy in comparison. I failed this so many times that I was actually beginning to run low on hard drive space. But after many attempts, I finally did it. If you really want to see the raw footage, let me know in the comments, but for now, subset review. I said I wanted to experience the coin collector subset because it used to be a part of the main set, and in hindsight, I almost regret doing it. For the main set, I said I'd be willing to replay the set and even complete it all over again one day, but I will never touch the subset again. And if the coin challenge was still a part of the main set, I probably wouldn't even be willing to replay the main set again, solely because of the coin collector challenge. I think that moving these to a subset was a very smart decision, but what's done is done, and we can celebrate. That's all I got for now. I hope you all have a wonderful day.